There was a time when I believed that if I could just wake up at 5 in the morning, I'd finally have it all figured out. I thought I'd be more productive, more focused, more successful, maybe even more worthy. So, like many of us, I tried it. I set my alarm, I curated the perfect morning routine, I read the books, I followed the influencers, I gave it a real shot. And for a while, I convinced myself it was working. Some mornings it did. I'd wake up after a solid night's sleep, make my tea, move through my routine, and feel like I could take on the world. But other mornings, I was exhausted. I'd roll over, hit snooze, and feel defeated before the day even began. No matter how disciplined I tried to be, I couldn't force my body and mind to operate on a timeline that didn't feel natural. Eventually, I realized the problem wasn't my willpower. It was the routine itself. I was trying to follow a rigid structure that simply didn't work for me, and once I gave myself permission to let it go, to build something that aligned with my real energy and lifestyle, everything changed. Let's talk about the myth of the 5 a.m. routine and why you don't actually need one to be productive. For decades, productivity culture has glorified the early bird. We've been told that waking up at 5 a.m. is the secret weapon of CEOs, Olympians, and high performers. You've seen the headlines. What the top 1% do before 7 a.m. Join the 5 a.m. club and transform your life. Discipline equals freedom. While those messages might sound inspiring, they're rooted in a one-dimensional view of success, one that assumes we all operate the same way. What those messages leave out is context. They don't consider whether you're a parent of a newborn, or maybe you work a late-night shift. Maybe you're neurodivergent and need more mental prep time. Or maybe you're simply most creative after the sun goes down. Productivity isn't a one-size-fits-all formula. And forcing your body and brain to conform to a rigid schedule simply because someone on the internet said so, that's not discipline. That's disconnection. Here's the truth. Your energy is unique, and it matters. Have you ever heard of chronotypes? They're basically your body's internal clock that dictates when you naturally feel most awake, focused, and energized. There are 4 main types. Lions are the early risers who peak before noon. Bears are middle of the road and represent most people. Wolves are night owls who gain focus later in the day. And dolphins are light sleepers who thrive best with flexibility. If you've ever wondered why you feel groggy at 7 a.m., no matter how much sleep you get, your chronotype is probably the reason. Trying to force yourself into an early morning routine that doesn't match your biology doesn't just affect productivity. It impacts your stress levels, your clarity, and your overall well-being. Working with your energy creates sustainability. Fighting it creates burnout. So how do you know if you're forcing a routine that doesn't fit you? Here are some signs. You feel foggy or disoriented when you wake up early, even with enough sleep. You crash hard around midday and rely on caffeine to function. You keep restarting your ideal routine every week because it never sticks. You feel guilty for not waking early, even if you're productive later in the day. Or maybe you come alive creatively at night, but don't allow yourself to work then because it's not considered optimal. These aren't signs of failure. They're invitations to pause and realign. And here's something I wish more people said out loud. You don't need to be a morning person to be productive. You don't need to rise with the sun. You don't need to journal, work out, read, and drink green juice before 6 in the morning to earn your place in the world. You might be at your best from 11 to 3. Or maybe your creative flow kicks in after dinner. Maybe your mornings are intentionally slow because your life demands it. You're allowed to build your day around what works for you, not around what works for someone else. So, how do you create a rhythm that actually works for you? First, discover your energy windows. Spend 1 week tracking your mental, emotional, and physical energy. Ask yourself, when do I feel clear-headed and focused? When do I feel drained or distracted? When do I naturally feel creative? Use those answers to find your golden hours and put your most important work there. Second, replace rigid routines with anchoring rituals. Instead of trying to schedule every hour, add meaningful rituals that bring structure without rigidity. Maybe a gentle morning ritual to ease into your day, whether that's at 7 a.m. or 11 a.m. A midday check-in to stretch, reset, or journal. And a wind-down routine to calm your mind and close the day with intention. Third, build in flexibility and forgiveness. Some days you'll feel like a powerhouse. Other days, rest will be the most productive thing you can do. Let your routines adapt. Let yourself pause. Let go of the idea that consistency must be flawless. Progress is still progress, even when it's imperfect. Let's normalize what real-life routines actually look like. Take the creative night owl. They sleep in until 9, spend the morning easing in, and hit peak productivity around 2 in the afternoon, working late into the night. Or the parent with a newborn. They sleep when they can, focus on micro goals during nap time, and use flexibility and grace as their greatest tools. Or the slow morning starter. They begin the day at 10 with a walk and a slow breakfast, schedule deep work between 11 and 3, and keep evenings free for family, creativity, or rest. These routines are valid. These people are productive in ways that actually work for them. So here's the takeaway. You don't need to wake up early to be productive. Your chronotype, your energy rhythms, and your life context matter more than someone else's idea of ideal habits. Rituals are more sustainable than rigid routines, and productivity is about intention and alignment, not alarm clocks. You're allowed to thrive in your own rhythm. If you're tired of hustle-based productivity advice and want tools that actually work with your life, we've got you covered. Sign up for our monthly newsletter and get free printable workbooks and dashboards every month, early access to digital planning tools, subscriber-only discounts, and seasonal offers. Plus, support and inspiration to help you plan in a way that actually honors your energy. Subscribe and come plan with us again soon.